Welcome back to Let's Talk Careers. I'm so excited to bring another incredible guest. Today we are speaking with Wissam Mattout, who is the founder at Transformations. We're going to be talking about all things Wissam's career, of course, how he made his choices as a young teenager, and how some of the life experiences he gained helped him make new choices on that career pathway. Welcome, Wissam. It's great to have you with me today.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to me to be with you today on your platform. So excited.
Thank you. I'm really excited as well. I mean, we could jump into so many things, but I'd like to take you back in time. I always take my guests back to when they were a younger teenager, about the age of the students that we see today trying to make career choices, around 15, 16. Do you remember how you made that first choice and where that first choice took you on that journey?
Wow, you are taking me so far in my. It wasn't an easy decision at that time, and honestly speaking, it took me quite a long time until I discovered myself and what do I need to do. So if I want to go back to that age, 15, 16, what I was thinking that I want to be, I was like, either I want to be a pilot or I want to be a pharmacist. Don't ask me why, don't ask me what's the link between both, but I just said that this is what I would love to do, this is what I want to do, and I wanted to explore those two things, and I insisted that would be my career, which is today I ended up completely far from those in a very, very funny way, I would say, but I enjoyed the journey at that time, and I had faced a lot of challenges in order to come to where I am today. Starting from them, always pilot was my passion because I felt that we used to live in a place where almost every 15 minutes I see planes and I see ships crossing, so it was near the sea. So that was like something that I want to do, either this or that. So which one? And at the age of 17, when I want to start, I remember to enroll or start executing the path to that passion. I was surprised that it would cost me a lot of money. At that time, I think it was around £70,000. And out of those £70,000, I had £1. So I couldn't do anything with that. I spent nights just crying and cursing myself and my family that they are not wealthy, they don't have money, they cannot put me in that career. And this is something that if I don't do, the life will end.
I really appreciate that you brought that up, Wissam. And as you're telling that story, it makes me think about privilege in helping a young person with their careers. And you identified the idea of wealth to have an opportunity to study. As you look back at those choices that you did make, do you now think, you know what, this made more sense for me? If I had gone down that path, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it. Or is that just something that we tell young people when they can't open door number one to make them feel good about opening door number two?
Well, I always believe that it's good to have a strong plan and work toward that plan. But I'm also a big believer, or now I would say I strongly believe that we need to be flexible in our journey. We need to be flexible in the way we grow. If we have a path, if we have a certain plan that we need to go through, there is no harm. But keeping our mindset open to changes, being flexible into moving around and jumping from one hope to another, just to reach somewhere that we need to reach. That's much better than just focusing on something specific and one route in order to go there in that way and that direction. So if I would tell you back to your question that do I believe or do I see it's better that I went into this flexible way or to the other career, or I was stuck in the first one. I honestly, at that time and my age, I can say that I missed directions. I missed orientation. We grew in a family or in a culture that there was nothing called career orientation or planning, self-development, personal growth. It was like you have a school, you go to school from 6 a.m., you come at home, you eat, you eat your lunch, you study, you do your homework, then the second day you do the same thing. During weekend you play football or you do whatever you want, sport, that's it. That's your life, right? Even if you are 15, even if you're 16, even if you are in university, we didn't grow up in a culture that there was someone, a counselor at least. I'm not saying any coach or I'm saying a career oriented, but a counselor, someone to go to and ask, what could we do? What would happen if this doesn't work? Am I fit to that job? I, I don't know today. Today I'm thinking, am I really fit? I was really fit to be a pilot. I was that person who wanted to be a pilot. But today, my characters today, my personality, is it the right characters for a pilot? The answer is probably no. Maybe I wouldn't enjoy it that much. Maybe I'm not saying because I didn't try it, but maybe I wouldn't enjoy it that much as I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now. So to put it in comparison, I think what I'm doing right now is more fun and enjoying it rather than other choices maybe that I could have taken before.
That's a very, very interesting perspective. Definitely something that young people today will be facing, the hope of doing something or the aspiration, and then life setting in and them realizing, well, I have to be adaptable to these circumstances. So let's go back. You had like a spectrum. On one end, there was being a pilot. On the other end, there was pharmacy or pharmaceutical studies. Where did you fall in that spectrum? What did you choose in that first career choice?
The story goes that way, and it's really funny story. So once I graduated, I told you at the age of 17. So before, when I was in the high school, I started looking for how to be a pilot, and it was like a shock for me. I canceled that plan. So this option number one, I put it away. So the second one is I want to be a pharmacist. So I want to go to the pharmaceutical studies. One of the good universities was well known in Lebanon and in my home country. I'm Lebanese. So they force you to do entrance exams. So I made the entrance exams, and unfortunately, I would say at that time I was saying to myself, the most that I like, which is pharmacist, I wasn't accepted to. So I failed in the exams. And the most that I don't like, which is engineering, I was accepted to. So I was accepted to engineering. I wasn't accepted to be a pharmacist. I said, no, I want to be a pharmacist. I wasted 1 year of my life doing nothing, just going out, helping my family in growing their business. My brother had a small business, so I was helping him. So literally, I wasn't doing that fruitful things in addition to playing football. I repeated the same process again. So I attended the exams again for the same university, because this was like an average university, one of the top, and I can handle the financial part of it, not on the top part. So I repeated the same process, exactly the same, and I got the same results. So I did the exams, I studied the same way, I attended the exams, the results get the same. I failed and I was not accepted as a pharmacist. I was accepted as an engineer. So here, since I hate engineer, what could be my second choice is to go into computer science. So I didn't have a laptop. I didn't have a computer. I know nothing about internet. I know nothing about programming. Null. So, and at that time, internet was just starting, I would say, in our region, or computer awareness. So I said, yeah, I have nothing, no options. So I don't like engineers, so I don't want to waste another year. Then I went into being a computer or study computer science. I noticed then that being in computer science or studying computer science was something that I enjoyed because it kept my mind working. Since I started discovering a lot of things that I'm skilled in, like analytical behaviors, looking for details, innovative ideas that I was coming with, how to overcome obstacles in programmings. And because when you are developing a software, if you face a certain issue, you need to push yourself in order to find a solution. And since it's not same as today, there were less help or libraries or support on the internet. You need to start trying and trying. So I discovered that I'm really passionate that this is one of my skills that I didn't know. Analytical skills, creativity, uh, uh, focused on details, and goal oriented. Then I said, why I don't do softwares and I sell it as a business. So I started doing that, selling small software to small companies, and I was making good money. In addition to teaching private tutors, being a private tutors in order to pay the bills of the university. So through teaching, I was getting connected to people who has business because I was teaching their kids. For those people, I was offering my service. Being a young teenager, I would say, having that passion of developing softwares, people were excited to support. So I leveraged into that also. Being at this age and people want to support, I was like, let me take it an advantage, and my advantage. And I start selling them my softwares. Maybe they were just helping me for a couple of bucks, but I was happy doing something. And I started growing until today I have my own company in data analysis and business process management. In addition to, I moved from teaching into coaching as we speak right now.
And I can hear along that story of the journey, even that first year when you were not able to get into pharmaceutical studies, you decided, no, it's not what I want. I'm taking a year. That's what we would call today a gap year. And in that gap year, you were doing some work and you realized that you definitely wanted to try again. And along the journey, I could hear that budding entrepreneur kicking in. Did you realize that you were acting entrepreneurial in that time, or did you just think that you were doing your job and trying to make extra money?
No, I was, I definitely didn't know that I am an entrepreneur. I was doing things that I feel that I want to do. There is something, those small birds in your ear, the positive ones, telling you, you can do it, Wissam. Let us do this. Let us do this. Let us do this. Every day I wake up in the morning, I have a new idea in my mind. I go to my laptop, I do it, and I sell it. I getting passionate and or stubborn to sell it, I would say. But I never thought that I am an entrepreneur or I have that entrepreneurial skills in myself. Again, maybe this is because of lack of guidance at that time, lack of awareness. All what I wanted is just, I was in a survival mode. I wanted to pay the bills and I want to get my master's degree. I want to grow. I was focusing in that direction. So I think I missed a lot, which is I'm really skilled and I was discovering it. Uh, just to let you know, I don't want to shock you, but it took me more than 15 years, almost 15 plus years in order to know what I'm skilled in and what is my passion, what I can do and what I cannot do. 15 years of my life was lost just trying to wing it left and right and try it.
As a career practitioner and in the work that I do, I don't see that as years lost. I see that as years gaining insight into yourself. And I do understand the lack of high quality guidance when you were younger, probably attributed to the 15 years of trying to figure it out, or as you described it, winged it. If you were to give advice to a young person today living in today's world where there is guidance, maybe it's debatable whether the guidance is high quality or just the bare minimum, what would you suggest a young person do different than what you did, given the circumstances that you had, that if they can do this one thing, it will really help them not have 15 years of winging it, but maybe gaining insights over the next decade for them?
So there are a couple of things or multiple things that they can do in order to grasp the 15 years or reduce those 15 years. And just before I comment on this, I'll go back to your point. Yes, those 15 years helped me a lot. I gained a lot. I learned a lot, and that's what made me today, myself today. But this is, I always imagined that what if I had someone who's mentoring me, who's coaching me, who's helping me in order to find the real path. Those 15 years, maybe it would be 5 years, would be 3 years, would be 10 years. So each year would be a gain for me in order to do more and get closer to what I want to achieve in my vision and my plan. So that's that. When I say I lost, it doesn't mean that I lost. It means that I didn't learn. No, I learned a lot, and that helped me be to what I am today. Back to your point, what advice I can give to the kids today, 15 years old, 16, 17-year-old, I would say don't be shy to ask for guidance. Because one of the things, I don't know if you agree with me, that I'm noticing in this, I have a daughter, she's 13-year-old today, and I see her friends who come to visit her, and so those one common thing I see in them that they believe that they know everything and nobody knows more than them because they have full access to internet, to Google, to YouTube, TikTok, so they can easily access everything in the world, and they don't need guidance. I would say yes, you are smart enough, you are brilliant, you are so genius, and you are smarter than us maybe, and definitely yes, grow up, but take this advice from someone who have been there, that you need someone to help you and hold your hand in order to learn the first few steps, at least in your career or building your career. Similar to small kid, when that kid start working, toddler, that toddler won't be able to walk if no one had held their hand and or the first few steps. And then they will start running, then there might be athletes. Same thing. This is your first few steps in a corporate life. It's different from being in school, it's different from being in university. So there's no harm to ask for support and ask for guidance.
So important. It's such a skill. I wonder sometimes if as adults, I mean, sometimes we say things, but as adults, we show something different. So if there was an adult watching this right now thinking, yeah, Wissam, that's right. Tell young people they shouldn't be afraid to ask for help. But how does that translate in your career today? Do you find that the members of your team are easy to ask for help, or do you still find that that skill of asking for help is still something that adults need to do more of?
Well, what I see that adults today, they believe that asking for help is they don't want, or they feel shy of asking. It's a shame that we are asking for help. While if those people, and I want to compare them for the fresh graduates that we work with in corporate life, they might have the same mindset, but the first time they start being enrolled in this life and start getting the first shock, the second shock, the third shock, that it's not easy. It's not the same as we see everything edited in a small 1 minute video on YouTube or on TikTok. It's completely different. Then they will start learning that yes, we need to ask for help. And something that I noticed, that especially fresh graduates today, they don't trust easily everyone. They might ask, but they don't trust easily everyone. And once they are selective in the way they ask and the people they ask, so they can easily find who's that person that we need to go to whenever we have a problem. This is a kind of a skill that they are gaining today. And they look always for someone who has this leadership skills, has this characteristic or charismatic skills that fit with them, with their personality. So they start without noticing, maybe thinking of who am I after 5 or 10 or 15 years? If that person represent this character, that will be me in the future, then why not? I would go and ask him. And another thing, I don't know if I want to mention it here, it's a big challenge for parents. They try to avoid asking parents sometimes. I don't know why.
I think that's a really interesting conversation that we definitely want to have on a different platform when we're helping with parents. But I do think that sometimes as adults, and parents included, we tell our young people to ask for help, but what we model is really something very different. And I sometimes wonder if that has an impact on why young people are challenged to ask for help when they're thinking about their future career. But that's why we do these interviews, right? To give them access
Indeed,
to
indeed.
people who are in different occupations, to give them some insights into how they made their choices. Just before we come to a wrap with our conversation today, I want to hone in on your top 3 career tips. Your top 3 are to plan, network, and excel in communication. Networking and communication, I mean, they're incredible resources to have in whatever occupation you're in. But definitely the 2 things that I've noticed in the world of work that many people are unskilled at doing. So if you're advising a young person as those number 2 and 3 of your top 3 tips, how would you advise them to learn the skill of networking and the art of communication?
Well, they both come together, networking and communication, because if you want to network, you need to be a good communicator. That's how you build network and relationship. For adults, the first thing that I would say, don't be shy from attending events. At least attend 1 or 2 events every year just to know what's happening and to meet people. So this would be a learning curve for you to build up your personality and to know what's happening in the world. So you better see corporate life, how is it going, and how people in corporate life networking with each other. Then approach those people. Don't be afraid of the age limit or age variation. Take an advantage. If today, I would say, if I'm Wissam, I'm standing and someone come to me and want to talk to me, he's 28-year-old, right? And I'm having a conversation with someone. What I would say to that gentleman, just kindly wait for 5 minutes until I finish. I'll come back to you. But if a teenager comes and start asking me, I would smile. I would take him and deal with him in a different way. Just, okay, boss, just stay beside me. I'll talk to you soon. Why is that? Because there is an advantage. Us as a human, we deal with teenagers, we deal with kids in a different way. So let them take that advantage and approach people in a polite way in order to learn from them. Let them monitor those people. Have a mentor maybe that mentor would be close to him, not a mentor who's a virtual mentor who's just online and they follow him on YouTube or like a celebrity that they cannot access. No, they need to have a close mentor, and that mentor will help them also. So this is step number 2, to get them the tips into better communication and better networking. So this is practical things. I've tried it. I had a fear of communication. I had a fear of networking. I used to go to events and I was always shy. I was always looking to my mobile. That was earlier in my career. I tried those and it worked for me.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Wissam. It's been really
Thank
incredible
you.
listening to your journey. And I think what I'm taking away, I mean, there's so many nuggets of information, but the ones that I'm definitely taking away are the reminder that we need to be adaptable to our circumstances and not to look at them as obstacles, but more so as being flexible and taking advantage of opportunities. Thank you for being with me here today and sharing your career journey.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria, for inviting me. And it's a pleasure. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Wissam. Wissam. And that brings
Thank
us
you.
right to the end of another incredible conversation. Today we were speaking with Wissam Mattout, who is the founder at Transformations. We talked about all things, his career, how he made those first choices, how he overcame challenge as a 17-year-old whose aspirations weren't quite what reality was able to offer him, but he found a way through it. If you missed today's conversation, just rewind, and I look forward to seeing you all at our next Let's Talk Careers with Ms.V.